Okay, I turned the music off. I need to go spit out my gum. I need to go spit out my gum. Alright, spat out my gum. Got my little Poe with me, so I'm talking about my book. I hate that poster. I hate that poster. I hate that player. I hate Mark Stone. Anyways, okay. Before we continue. Yeah, anyways, so I'm just gonna talk about uh my first impressions of Colorless. Well, Colorless, Tsukuru Tazaki and his years of pilgrimage, and just my general like first impression through the first 6 chapters, which I know is not a lot. It's about a third of the book, I think. I'm not sure. By Haruki Murakami, and as I was looking through his little page on Amazon, because I ordered the book through Amazon, I saw some very other interesting titles. I thought the covers were really cool, and the titles as well, and just like little synopses. So synapses. Okay, that's the brain shit. Sorry. Anyways, I'm gonna put him somewhere visible here. Okay. Anyways, and I was sort of thinking, how do I put this? Well, first, I really like the cover of this book. You know, my only complaint really is that it's paperback. So, as you're kind of opening the book, and you have it like this, then it's like the restorative force, or where it's kind of not like this, and it doesn't have the weight to kind of like keep itself closed. That's my only real complaint with this book so far. um, yeah, yeah, okay. Pretty funny, right? Hey, you get it? The only complaint I have about this book is that it's in paperback. Woo. But anyways, I'm gonna take 1 year out so I can hear myself better. Um, First, just personal, just comments and how I feel that I relate to this personally. Reading this book feels like I'm being personally attacked every 5 pages, and I'm not saying personally attacked as in like this is a character assassination. I'm deeply offended. No, I don't think being personally attacked is the correct wording here. I mean it more so in like the this hits deep kind of way because of where I've been in the past month, sort of with regards to mental health and stuff. Of course, I'm not Japanese, nor am I 20 years old or 30 something, as Tsukuru is. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, I'm only 17. I haven't lived a lot of life, and a lot of his circumstances don't apply directly to me. They don't apply one to one to me. But I feel like that sometimes, and I'm not sure to what extent. If I'm like 90% of what he is, or 80, or whatever. But that doesn't really matter. It's just a very like, it's just very human. It just feels relatable to me. Okay, just in the most succinct way. Hashtag relatable. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the first page is just, I I was taken aback. I was like, I do a double take of just like, oh, holy shit, dude. This book reading my mind, and I'm doing this book for a lit circle. Um, and this was my top choice. I wanted to do No Country for Old Men, but I just thought it just seems a little too edgy. Um, you know, and I just got very like chill vibes from this. I guess this is where I talk about why I chose this book. Um, I read the little like Goodreads, also the Wikipedia summary. No, I didn't read the plot. I read like the quick, little summary that they have at like the top paragraph of the Wikipedia page. And it talked about like a guy who's cut off by his 4 friends, and then his girlfriend encourages him, or tells him, demands that he reconnects with them. And at that time, when I was kind of looking through it, my head, it was very foggy. My brain felt like scrambled eggs. Like uh, it does, because it's not, because the brain is, there's only one of it. Just like my brain feels like scrambled eggs every single lit class, but I had a brief moment of clarity there where I was like, that actually that sounds that sounds like something nice to read about, because I've been feeling that sort of, with some people in my life that I feel I don't have very tenable connections with. I like that word a lot, tenable. Nice word. Um, and I just feel like my place within, I guess, the social jungle of high school, it's very odd, because I consider myself a very social person, but at the same time, it's like, am I really anyone's like first choice? Um, I don't know. And you know what? If I'm not, that's okay, because you know what? Still have myself. That's all that matters. Okay, sorry, I'm talking about the book, right? Um, and of course, this is a translation from Japanese to English, translated by Philip Gabriel. So I can't really go too much into, I guess, whatever Murakami's, I guess, prose is, because I don't know what it was originally. I cannot read kanji or whatever. However, I will say that whatever Philip Gabriel has done is, in my opinion, quite nice. Fun fact: my little White Sox Denver Broncos gingerbread man is named Murakami as well. And actually, I ordered him on Christmas, like on Christmas, the Christmas shopping season. And the day I got him, the day he arrived, was actually the same day that Murataka, I don't know, uh, the White Sox guy, the NPB star Murakami was announced to have signed with the White Sox. So yeah, this is Murakami. Anyways, shit, where was I? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've only read up to 6. Okay, I really like Sara and Tsukuru's relationship. It's very healthy. It's very adult. It's very mature, and I like the way that Sara has like a. She's very transparent, or maybe that's just how adults are. But they're very forthcoming with each other. Except for Tsukuru, and they kind of talk about it later, where it's like you can only have relationships with women that you don't have to open up to completely. That part hit me like a truck. I think it hits anyone, but happened to hit me. So I'm just gonna pretend that I'm like the only person in the world that feels like that. But I really like the dynamic there. It's just very refreshing. Let's see, what did I write down here? Not as on page 93 of this version. I said my bookmark fell out. I wrote down the quote: "Not as some naive, easily wounded boy, but as a grown-up, independent professional." It's just stupidly like mature. But also the whole story about Midori Kawa and his sort of like, I guess, acceptance of death. Like why is he like, what are these burdens that he has in his life where it's like what he lived for became such a burden that he's just willing to, just die. It's confusing, but it's very intriguing, and I hope that we get more insight into that. I hope I get more insight into that. I don't know if you're reading along, but I hope I get more insight into that as I read more. But maybe it's something where you just have to really, really, really look at the words and sort of dissect it from there. I thought the logic versus taking a leap of faith thing was really interesting. I was kind of confused as to why they're talking about that. It's like, Haida is like a philosophy student, so it makes sense. But then it's like, you kind of understand why that whole like kind of conversation was put in place when the death token is brought up. And when I first saw the death token, I was like, holy shit, holy crap, this is taking like a supernatural turn. It's like Death Note, it's gonna be a death god like Ryu or something. And like very interesting about the death token being like enlightenment, light, like from Death Note, and how he becomes like a god after when he obtains the Death Note. Parallels. Sorry, I actually haven't read Death Note. I'm just a larper. Um, I guess just one more thought, cause just yeah, I like how Midori Kawa talks about talent for a while and just says talent is untenable. That's the note I wrote, but let me I know I'm not doing any real good like deep delving into the text or anything. But I just kind of want to just talk about it. I guess it's kind of like a video journal, because the only real journal I have is this thing, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to write in. But I love it, you know. But yeah, and maybe I'll talk about this later and kind of where my head's been. But okay, so, God, I keep going on side tangents. Isn't that weird? Okay, let's see. Midori Kawa grudgingly shook his head. Talent can be a nice thing to have sometimes. You look good, attract attention, and if you're lucky, you make some money. Women flock to you. In that sense, having talent's preferable to having none. But talent only functions when it's supported by a tough, unyielding physical and mental focus. All it takes is one screw in your brain to come loose and fall off, or some connection in your body to break down, and your concentration vanishes like the dew at dawn. A simple toothache or stiff shoulders, and you can't play the piano well. It's true. I've actually experienced it. A single cavity, one aching shoulder, and the beautiful vision that in sound I hope to convey goes out the window. The human body's that fragile. It's a complex system that can be damaged by something very trivial. In most cases, once it's damaged, it can't easily be restored. Blah, 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 blah. I thought that was really nice. Something I've heard a lot growing up is talking about how hard work beats talent. You know, it's more like you know, when talent fails to work hard, you know, it's like when your talent can only take you so far, basically. So I thought that was a very nice passage. But the part that kind of the the written haymaker, the most recent one, I guess, was you can only have relationships with women that you don't have to open up to completely. That was one of them. The one before that though was you need to use the thread of logic as best you can to skillfully sew onto yourself everything that's worth living for. So like use your rationality to, I guess, kind of ground yourself and just keep living. Whenever I think about like keep living, I think about that one panel in Fire Punch where Agni's sister, I don't remember her name, goes live, and every time Agni almost dies, every time where his regeneration almost fails him, it's like he just remembers that live, and those eternal flames on him just burn brighter, and it's like torture. Sorry, that's completely unrelated. I don't know why I keep doing these, but yeah, but here it's kind of like Midori Kawa kind of imparting his wisdom upon Haya's father. But I think Midori Kawa's, I guess, like worldview is also very interesting, and I think that's just going to require deeper reading. And I think I've talked enough. Yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, and for the thumbnail, I guess, you know, inspired by Jacob fucking Jones. What face do I make like this? I think that's good. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching.